Hi guys, I wanted to show you how to craft the gear with the new currency. The crafting is insanely strong and you can make really good gear for pretty cheap. As you can see here, the suffixes are pretty much perfect for my build. I'm EA Ballista. I need Dex for wearing evasion gear. I need suppression. I need some res. And then you can just do the prefixes later with the Eldritch Chaos Orbs. With the new currency, we can target which part of the item we want to craft. We can start by suffixes or we can start by prefixes and then we can do the rest later. So it's pretty much deterministic. And since essences are so cheap because the new Atlas pretty much gives free essences every map, you can just spam until you get like perfect suffixes for your build, and then you fix the prefixes after with the bench and the new currency. How the new currency works is that if you use this on a chest, you give it the Ether of Word implicit. So it's predominantly Ether of Word, so it's blue. If you make it blue and you use one of the new currencies, it targets the suffixes. And if you make it red, it targets the prefixes. And you can change whichever influence is predominant by using the new Ichors. So for example, if you have a lesser on the chest and you have a greater, if you have a lesser blue and a greater red, the chest will be red, and you can just do the opposite. If you have a greater blue and a lesser red, it will be predominantly blue. So you can change how these new currencies interact with the chest. So you can pretty much guarantee the suffixes, spamming essences, or like exalting a suffix when you get two of them that are really good. And then you can just switch on the prefixes, and the new currency is crazy. You can pretty much do reroll keep prefixes and reroll keep suffixes for like 7C, 8C. It's so cheap, and my gear's pretty much cracked. It's insane. For like I crafted this on day 2, and I finished my whole Atlas because like the gear power level for early game is just too strong. One thing to know about the new crafting system is you don't really care about the implicits because you can always change the implicits later. So what you really want is the best possible evasion, armor, or ES base that you can use. Be careful that if you need suppression, you need to have some dex requirement on your gear. Even if it's hybrid, it's going to be lower weight. So if you want if you want to get suppression really easily, you want an evasion base. Or you can just use an hybrid base, but it's going to be a little bit harder. But you need some dex requirement on the gear, or it doesn't have suppression. If you use a pure armor base, you can't get suppression, which is like one of the harder mods to get, and that's why like this method is so good. And this, of course, is like slightly lower power level than influence gear, but it's extremely cheap to craft. And I finished my Atlas just using this gear, like just good res, good suffixes, and good life, and then you can just spam the new currency to get good implicits for your build. For example, I have flask effect, some evasion, extinguish, which makes me ailment immune as long as I'm eating stuff, accuracy, which is really good for EA Ballista, movement speed, avoid chance being poisoned. I didn't really over spam these. I just whenever I eat something good for my build, I just kept it. And then mana regen and flammability curse effect. I have a flammability ring here, and I need mana regen because the mana cost on explosive arrow totems is pretty high. I'm gonna show you. Someone just crafted this chest using this method. I explained it yesterday on stream. By the way, if you wanna check my stream, go on twitch.tv/Elesshar93. And I'm gonna show you how to craft with this. I'm starting with essences, and essences at this point of the league, they're like 1C because of the new Atlas. And we are trying to get really good suffixes. Something like this, the suppression is pretty low, and also the res. We want to go for like really, really good suffixes. In this case, we could try to annul the reduced attribute requirements. If we make it blue and we use one annul, the blue influence makes it target the suffixes, so we can try to annul the attribute, and we annul the other bad mod. So we just keep going. If we remove the bad mod, like in this case, we could try to remove the life regen, and then we can just slam with an Eldritch Exalt after. They're pretty cheap, they're like 3 chaos, and these are like 5-6 chaos. So you're basically doing a 1 in 3 gamble, and it's like 3C and 6C. And if you get something good, you like save a lot of money. So I can try to annul here the life reason. Okay, I removed it, and now we can exalt it. And if we get like a big res, we can go ahead and do the prefixes. You don't have to worry, this cannot slam a prefix because we made it blue, and if it's blue predominantly, so we have a ether of word implicit, as you can see. It's lesser, and there's no red, so it's predominantly blue, and we always slam a suffix. In this case, we slam the life reason again. I can try to annul it again, but let's try it. Okay, I removed it again, and then we slam it again. Okay, this is like good enough to start crafting on. It's not like anything crazy, but you can try. Okay, now we can craft on this. So we want to make it predominantly red, so we can go on the prefixes. So since the lesser blue that we just used is on the test, we want to use a greater so that the test now is more red than it is blue. And we got global fizz damage. Now, if we use a Eldritch Chaos Orb or an Eldritch Exalt, it will always slam or influence the prefixes. So we can completely reforce the item, or we can exalt. In this case, I want to try to go in my bands and block something and then exalt, because we already have hybrid life. If I can slam flat, we can make it really, really good. So I'm gonna block like something really cheap like evasion. So I remove it from the pool, and then I use this as an exalt just for prefixes. So it's a really cheap exalt. And if we get like a good tier of life, we're pretty much done, and we craft percent life. Okay, we got evasion, it's pretty bad. So we go ahead and use the Eldritch Chaos to reforge the prefixes only. The suffixes will be locked in. The prefixes are not that good, we want high life. We got pretty good life. What we can do here is try to annul, and if we remove the hybrid evasion, we can craft percent life and just sell the chest. And we removed the percent evasion, but not the hybrid. I think it's good enough to just craft life and call it a day. This is probably like sellable. Suppression, dex, life, fire res. And what did we spend? A few essences, probably like 20-30C and like 10C. Like we probably spent like, I don't know, the base plus 50C to make this. And I bought the base for 1.2 and then I split it. So I made 2 chests for 1.5. So let's say I spent 2 exalts up to this point. And this is probably worth 2 exalts just by itself. And I got another chest. I'll put it like for like 2.5 maybe. 2.5 exalts. Let's price check it. So good evasion, life, suppression, 24. Yeah, and we didn't even count the percent life or the dex or the res. Let's say we count the res. Yeah, they start for like 4x. I'm gonna try 3.5. Yeah, and I spent up to now like 2. Okay, let's craft another one. We're out of annuls, so I'm just gonna go hard on the essences, and I'm just gonna use less of this currency. I have so many essences since they're really cheap. I'm just gonna, oh, this is like actually usable. I could try to sell it, but it doesn't have suppression. I kind of want suppression. Suppression is like the best stat. I'm going hard on the essences, and I'm just saving the currency for when I really, really need it. And, oh, for the essences, we're using Shrieking of Hatred, Wrath, Envy, or Anger. So we're using all the resist ones. And, oh, we got suppression, we got dex. We kind of want to try to annul the dexterity. I'm going to go buy some annuls and come back. Okay, I bought some annuls, and now we're trying to remove the dexterity and try to slam something after. Okay, it's a 1 in 3. Oh, I forgot to make it. We need to make it blue first so that we can target the suffixes with this annul. Zealotry increased our effect. That's actually a really good mod, by the way. Remove dex. Please remove dex with the null. We remove the suppression, so we just go again and just spam. We're using chaos essences now. Any resist essences should be fine. They're really cheap. They're like 1C. Good suppression, good chaos res, bad cold res. Let's annul the cold res if we can. We annul the suppression, so we just go again. Chaos. Oh, good suppression. We can try to remove the life regen. 1 in 3. We remove the chaos res, so we just go again. Good suppression, good chaos res. Actually, the suppression is a little bit low. I could use one exalt, but the suppression is kind of low. I just want to roll over. Okay, good suppress. Okay, oh my god. The suffixes are crazy, and we also have T1 life. This is like perfect. This is like pretty much done. If the suppression was a little bit higher, but it's like really, really solid. 28 is really good. So this test is almost done. The only thing we can do with this is we block evasion. Any evasion, I think hybrid evasion or percent. We just craft percent evasion, and we're trying to slam on the flat hybrid life. So we're trying to get this tier of life like 30 life or something, so we get to over 150 life. And to slam, we need to make the test predominantly red, so we use the greater Eldritch Ember, because the other one we have on is lesser Eater of Worlds, so now we make it more red than it is blue. And since now the red Exarch is greater, we can actually slam a prefix. And we got Fizz Reflect, which is really bad. If we really want, we can try to remove the craft. We can remove the craft, right? And we could annul in a 50-50 to try and remove the Fizz damage to attackers. But since it's really early in the league, I don't think it's worth it. So I'm just going to keep it on and just craft percent life and just sell the chest. I have my gear already done, so I don't really care about. I was just doing this for, like, to show you guys how to craft it. My gear's pretty much done. I have like real capped suppression, capped res, and I'm pretty much good. And my atlas is complete, so I'm probably gonna respec into my next build soon. I completed everything, so this is like so strong of gear for like this early in the league. I did everything on day 2, so I'm just gonna craft maximum life percent here, the veiled mod, and I'm just gonna sell it. Let's see how much does it go for. Good res, 120 life, and suppression. Let's take out the chaos res. Okay, yeah, the minimum is like 4x, and ours has really good chaos res, good evasion, and max life. Yeah, there's none with this good of mods. So the last step, once you have like your base gear, the mods, the last step would be to just spam the Ichors on your chest until you get something good and usable for your build. For example, Zealotry is a good aura, but not many people are going to use Zealotry on an evasion base, while the other one, Warcry buff effect, is pretty bad. So we want to change the Searing Exarch, which is the red one, and we want to make it into a usable implicit. Increased lightning damage is not that bad. We can probably save it. Maybe someone plays a build with lightning damage on evasion base, like lightning strike or something like that. So I'm just gonna put it like for 4.5x and see if it sells. We can do it on this test as well. Actually, this one is already pretty good. Eli res and global fizz damage. I use the lesser ones here. I use one lesser, one greater, but ideally you wanna use greaters, or like even better than greater. The bigger ones, the last two, to get like a really good implicit. For example, mine have lesser, greater, greater, grand on this one, and lesser, grand. Yeah, if you can buy them, just use greater or grand. But that's not like too important. The important part is getting the actual mod on the item that you want, and then you can always get the implicit later. And if you get the perfect ones for your build, there's some crazy ones like fire damage over time multi. You can get ignite prolif, you can get shock prolif. There is some crazy mod. You can get max res on chest. Whenever you get the mods that you want, you can always upgrade them later on with the new boss drops. I don't remember the name of them, but that's pretty much it. This gear should like help you through your atlas progression tremendously. It's really, really strong. You get crazy high armor, crazy high evasion, and good suppression and capped res really easily with good life. I have 5k life. My damage is good enough to do pretty much all content. The only content I couldn't do is Maven and the Feared. I just gotta carry for those two. And thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.